Hi everyone, I'm Amy.
And I'm Audrea.
This is the right crowd, so grab a cup of coffee,
Or a delightful cup of tea.
maybe a little something on the rocks, and let's get started. Alrighty. So this week we will be talking to Audrea about a recent class that she just took. It's a newish training course at Bootcamp for authors about dictation. And I did not take the class. I know nothing about the class, so I will be learning right along with you. So, Audrea, do you want to give us a brief rundown of what the class was about and how you found it?
Yes. So I have always been interested in utilizing dictation from way back. I think the first book I ever bought was back in 2016. It was How to Train Your Dragon. And this was when, what is it, Dragon, Naturally Speaking, the software program was all the rage and it was pretty good. It still is used today, except if you have a Mac. They took away that version. And I happen to have a Mac. So your options got a little bit smaller. So I took the course. It's a dictation boot camp. It's run by Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. I took the boot camp first, and it was a 5-day boot camp. So I took the course this fall, the boot camp, and then as they do some of the boot camps, this particular boot camp had a course that you could also take. You don't have to take the course after you take the boot camp is sufficient for you to learn how to do dictation and to get tips and tricks from the author. And she does it in an open style. So other authors are there. It's on Zoom. So you get interaction and you get to ask questions in the chat. And if you buy the VIP bonus or the VIP level, I know.
Which
I
I'm guessing you did because
did it.
it's what we do.
Well,
Yep.
we do sometimes if it's worth it. I did it, and the only reason I did it was because you get a chance to ask questions specific to the issues you're having about dictation or how so it's about you, you can make it all about you, and I love it when it's all about me. So I think paid a little bit extra and got the dictation or the VIP. And in the VIP, they also do breakout sessions so that you can have like maybe 3 authors in a Zoom room and that you talk about what they're doing and you share your tools and techniques. And I always advocate for that. I mean, I know most authors are like myself, introverts, but you learn so much from each other. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do the VIP part. You can get plenty from the dictation boot camp. And the way she has it structured is she teaches you how to dictate, what dictation is, and we could go over that in just a little bit. What dictation is, how to do it. She gives you some tools, and then she has some practice sessions. So, like any of you have done sprints where you get 20 minutes to write with a prompt. She has short sprints, like 15 and 20-minute sprints, where you go off camera and off mic, of course, and then you try the dictation and you come back. And if you have any issues or things you want to ask about, you can do that. I found that I always find sprints helpful. So that was the first time I'd done a dictation sprint, and it was pretty cool. I got some good writing, and it did prompt me to do more writing for National Novel Writing Month or National Rough Draft Month or whatever we're calling November these days. So that was the boot camp. And the boot camp is however many days. I'll double check it and we'll put it in the notes. But every day you get a different topic. So by the end of the boot camp, you know how to dictate and you have ideas to make your dictation flow better. And you've tried it out and you've got tools. You got everything you need to start dictating on your own. And then she does offer a class, and the class is self-paced. So it's recorded.
I was thinking self-propelled, and I was like, that's not the word.
So it's recorded asynchronous, and you watch the videos and then go off and do some practice if you so choose. And I highly advise the practice part. What I really liked about, and again, her name is Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. She's a writer, and she's been in a lot of webinars and things of that nature. But what I really liked about it is she gave us an example of herself dictating. When I first started trying to dictate, I had no idea what I was supposed to do. Am I just supposed to sit here and talk to myself? And the words that came out made no sense. I mean, back in my day when I started dictation, it was an ugly, lonely. Nobody was doing it, so there were no resources. These days, if you go to Google, not Google, if you go to Amazon, there's tens of books about dictating as a writer. And you can find the topic in conferences as well. Whenever you and I go to a conference or I go to a writing conference, if there was a dictation course or seminar, I would sit in just to see what's new in dictation. Has anybody improved it? And it's improved a lot lately. Lately, it has gotten a lot better. The tools have gotten better, and the transcription, the way you can get things transcribed, is not as expensive. So that's even better, faster. So it's a great tool for writers.
So if you bought your first book in 2016, how long before that were you interested in dictation? Or did you like see the book and think, oh, this could be cool? And that's what started it.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what it was is I heard some author say, I can dictate 5,000 words a day. And I was like, I can't even write 5,000 words a month. How do you? I'm going to dictate. That's the answer. So I don't know how long it was before I bought that first book. And I bought the program, which was pretty expensive back in the day, that was interested in before then. But I had to have heard it from another published and selling author that this was a great tool. And I'm all about efficiencies and using my time more wisely. So I got interested in it just for saving time. And I can tell you, frankly, I crashed and burned when I was trying to dictate at first because I didn't know what to say or what was I supposed to be dictating, where to start. It was it was non-intuitive for me. It was not
Right.
intuitive. So yeah, that was a little bit about it, about me learning the dictation.
So now do you do any kind of pen writing or is it all words?
No, it's not all words. I actually put dictation on hold for a little while. I had forgotten about it. And then whenever I need to get a lot of words done in a short amount of time, then I remember, oh, yeah, there's that technique of dictation I should be using. So, what I really liked about the course that I took, she encouraged you to do dictation every day during the boot camp on your own outside of it. And then she encouraged you to do especially for people with brains like mine that are a little bit hard to focus, encouraged us to do morning pages. Have you ever heard of that? Has anybody ever heard of morning pages? Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about morning pages before. I mean, I could be crazy, but I'm feeling like I've talked about morning pages.
We
And I'm
definitely.
feeling like you kind of poo-pooed morning pages.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're feeling the right feelings.
So how do you feel about morning pages now, Audrea?
Morning pages are so helpful. People have been no,
So
but
you want to give us a reminder of what morning pages are?
morning pages, oh my gosh. Do you recall the books? It's Julia Cameron and
Julia
The
Cameron, hang on, I may have it right here.
Artist's Way.
Yes. I was going to say I've got another one of hers, but it's not the artist way.
We've got it up there. So it's The Artist's Way, which a lot of authors and author groups do together. As
Very woo-woo.
it is woo woo. And I'm a woo woo person. So yeah, she advocates, and I think she even started the term of morning pages, where every morning you get a pen and paper, journal, or whatever paper you want to write on, and you physically write words, just not about your story or your novel or your screenplay. You just write all the words, get them all out of your head and onto the page. And it can be about anything. And you have to do that first thing in the morning. And I never really got it because first thing in the morning, I'm thinking, what am I gonna have for lunch? And the weather is sucky. And what meetings I mean, my brain is just doing all the things at once first thing in the morning. So I never really got it. But when I was in the boot camp and I did that, she calls it a hot seat. If you paid for the VIP, you get that time where you can ask. I said, I sit down to write and I mean to write. And I even know what I want to write. I even have a scene outline. I know what needs to happen. And I sit down to write and I don't write. Nothing comes out no matter what. Nothing comes out. But I think of 60 bazillion things and it's very frustrating. And so they suggested that, surprise, it sounded like I might have attention deficit.
Yeah.
News to everyone. Shocker. Snooze breaks the internet. No, they suggested that for people who do have a little trouble with focus it or have a lot of stress in their lives, that morning pages actually helps you to get all that down and get it out. And then when you're actually ready to sit down and write, the words that you need to have come forward. And I started it. I said I was going to try it and I tried it and it actually worked. That's crazy. Julia Cameron. Right. You're right. I just wasn't in a place to hear you, Julia. But anyway, the difference was I wasn't physically writing, which Julia advocates because there's that brain physical
Yeah.
connection writing. And I totally believe in that. That's totally a thing. Because it was a dictation class, it was try dictating your morning pages. And I don't know why that works for me better than the actual writing of the morning pages, but it did. I was able to get out all the random thoughts and gobbledygook instead of, maybe what I'm trying to do. This is a tangent, but when I sit down to write, it either has to flow and make all just sense. It needs to be cohesive and it needs to make sense. And then I do bullet points for other things. And if I can't do that because my brain is pinging, then I just stop writing. But when I'm speaking it, I just say random things like, "Oh, look, a squirrel. Oh, look, it's snowing. Oh, a tumbleweed just blew." And another thing, the scene in the book where she talks to her father-in-law needs to include this fact or red herring. So anyway, so that's one of the really cool techniques that I got out of that boot camp. And I like the boot camp so much, I decided to take the course. And you don't have to take the course. You get everything you need out of the boot camp. But if you, after you've taken the boot camp, you want more or you want to go deeper, there's the course. And one of the things that I really like that she covered, which no one else has covered, that to my knowledge, and I have not taken every dictation course that's out there these days, how to, she covers how to get out of the muddy middle. And I had not seen authors do that before. It's either dictate a whole scene or start with the beginning of a rough draft and do it or an outline. But that middle part is the part that gives so many authors trouble. And she gave some great tips for using dictation to dictate your way out of that middle and fix things. I really like that about the what she offers.
So you think that dictation is a good tool for all authors?
I do. I honestly do. I can get way more words out. I can do 2,000 words in about half an hour just talking about. I can get, and they will all make sense. They have to be transcribed because there will also be in there will be like, and Maxwell walked into the cafe and she said hello to Pops. She said, "Down biscuit. No, Duchess."
Oh, that's the doorbell. I have to go.
And then I'll
By
pick
the
up.
way, Duchess and Biscuit are not characters in the book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Getting with fear, be yelling at, the traffic or something like that if I'm doing it on a walk, which a lot of people do dictate on a walk. You just have to have your phone earbuds so it looks like you're talking to someone, not just speaking weird things into the atmosphere. But so I think it is a great tool. It is not an easy tool. It's not intuitive, I don't think. I thought it would be intuitive.
So
So
it's not something I would do because I don't think I would take the time to figure all the things out.
well,
I'm more intuitive. I'm more if I could figure it out intuitively, I'm great. But if I gotta I don't know. So like, okay, so here's the thing. I want to try dictation.
Mhm.
I want to because I spend a lot of time by myself.
Mhm.
A lot of time by myself. And I don't care if people see me talking to myself. There's not a lot of people I care about their opinions of. So I'm care. My thing is figuring out how to make it work, how to download it, how to transcribe it, how to it's all the steps that I have to figure out how to do, except just let me talk it and put it in. Like I want to talk it and put it in. And I don't think that, so I don't know what's for someone like me, you know how I am. We've been doing this channel for 3 years. We've known each other for 4 or 5. Like, how for someone like me who wants to do it, but is not tech savvy, needs things that are like plug and play type stuff.
Mm.
Is there a way to make that work for me, or do I just need to continue? Actually, I'll give the example of my new pen. Or do I need to just continue using a pen?
I would say it's different for everyone, but for you specific,
I'm special.
you're a bit out of special. See, I hesitate to say that you shouldn't bother because you can get so many words out. I mean, it's so helpful in that regard.
Getting the words out and having them tracked.
They're not trapped. Okay, so let's go back. So if you, it's no longer technically prohibitive, or I mean, it's not, you don't have to be a techno geek to do dictation anymore. Before, you did have to either have a special program to do it, or you had to take that blob of sound, the recording, and send it someplace or put it someplace to get it transcribed. Now, all you need is a telephone and an app on your phone. And if you can get an app on your phone, which if you can't get an app on your phone, you should not do dictating.
I got one. But the other thing,
Oh, you know how to get an app. You could get an app and then you just talk into the app. And I have an app that transcribes. So I don't even have to save it here and move it there. It transcribes for me.
so
Yeah.
it's kind of plug and
It is kind of plug and play. I think
how much is that app?
I think that one was $3.99, maybe? If I
Like $3.99 or $3.99?
$3.99. Yes, I have one that's $1.99, and I have one that I bought the professional on, and I believe it was $3.99. I would, after having used it, I would pay a lot more for don't tell any of the app.
The decimal out and you would still buy it?
I would well, not for 300. No, I would find a different way to do it. But yeah, so that app is well worth it. So yeah, you can get an app for less than $5 American and start speaking into it, and then it will either transcribe for you or you set it up to record to a place on your computer or into your cloud, and then you'd have to have it transcribed in one of a bazillion different ways to have something transcribed. These days, it's so easy to get things transcribed.
So what are the 2 apps that you would recommend? The one you record and the one that you transcribe. What are the 2 that you would recommend for everybody?
I am not sure or if these work on Android because I have an app, but I have
No.
the
Sorry.
Apple. So the Just Press Record is the name of the app that I've got.
Okay.
With a picture of the icon, but that one transcribes for you, and I tell it to save my transcriptions to my note-taking app. I have a note-taking app, Evernote. You could tell it to send it to your email. You can do whatever you want with it, but I save everything to Evernote,
Okay.
and then when I'm writing, I pull it out of Evernote. And then the other one, if you wanted to pay a little bit more money, you could use Otter. That is a professional meeting transcription application, though. And that one is in the like $100 a year. I use Otter for business though, as well as for writing. So I needed it to transcribe meetings. But the other,
Right.
so that's one of the apps, and then I'll look up another one. But Just Press Record is the best one I've found lately.
Is there anything else you think everyone should know about dictation?
Yes. Okay. So going back to you yourself for your example, for someone who likes things to be plug and play, there is a little bit, you need to practice, but you have to practice with everything that you do. I mean, to get better at it. No, put your big girl pants on and
Whatever.
and I only say you have to practice because you recall I said one of the best parts of her boot camp in her class was she gave you an example of how she dictated. And it is very nice to hear people start and stop and stumble and, repeat sentences. Cause that's what I was doing. I was like, I'm doing it wrong. I'm not speaking a whole paragraph out or like a whole chapter out just fluently, just beautifully. I'm stopping and going, no, her shirt was red in the last chapter. She didn't change her clothes since she walked out of the house. But anyway, so it was a good example, but There you do for some of the programs have to speak your punctuation. And that was probably the hardest thing to
Oh,
because we as humans don't walk around going, "Hello, Amy, period." Or it's actually, "Hello, comma, Amy Pierce. How are you today?" Question mark. New line.
you know what? I just listened to a podcast. I want to say it's What I Wish I Knew or something like that with Sarah Rosette and Jamie Albright. And they did one on dictation because I knew we were going to be doing this video. And so I was looking for something to listen to. And one of them said that they tried dictation, but they had the one where you had to do the punctuation. And it was frustrating to have to go back and read everything and put the punctuation in. The other person said, who I think they were interviewing someone. The other person said that they actually had an app that put in the punctuation for them. And I was like, if I did it, that is what would have to happen.
Yes, I think I know the name of that app because it is on my chalkboard over there for me to try, but it's more expensive than the app that I'm already using, and my transcription right now is free for the most part. So I that there are that and the apps are getting better and better. And so you
Well, I mean, hello AI.
exactly. Speaking of AI, that is one of the best transcription things out there. You just take that block of achy words gobbledygook, and you ask AI to transcribe this into English with proper punctuation, include dialogue tags where it makes sense, and it will do it.
It's
It's
just so like it's
it's
so
not
weird to me. That is where we are in the world right now.
it's Star Trekky.
I
It's
mean, it's right.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for everybody to have beam me up, like
You know,
jets floating through the air. Like I'm just waiting. We're going there. Wait a
sometimes
minute. Has there been a Simpson episode on it? Because if there's been a Simpson episode, it's coming.
I believe there has. So
Well, then it's coming.
it's
That's all I
coming.
want
Let's see. Anything else about the class? So we talked about the transcription. All right. The one of the other things about when you do it at first, you have to practice and you have to be okay with the gobbledygook that comes out of your mouth and goes onto the page, to the recorder and onto the page.
You mean I have to articulate?
You have to try and articulate. And it's worse than doing a rough draft because they always say your rough drafts are supposed to be like a vomit draft or it's worse than rough draft because you don't speak, like I said, punctuation or your paragraph breaks and things like that. So you have to be okay with that and just practice it. And all I wanted to say, like the courses are good. There are a few books out there. I mentioned the one that was How to Train Your Dragon, the Writer's Guide to Training Your Dragon, and that was specifically for Dragon Action,
Right.
which is out of date right now. Um, then there is Dictate Your Book by Monica Leonel. I read hers, and I read a couple of others that were helpful. But so we'll list those in the show notes. But that's basically it. Dictation is a great tool. Like any tool, you have to figure out how to use it and master it to make use of it. It can make you more efficient or it can build more time into your writing schedule because you can speak faster sometimes than people can physically write. And
Yes.
look, I've dictated scenes while I was driving to the store. It's a great tool. Check it out. If you're interested in taking the courses, we'll keep those listed. She's offering them again, the boot camp and full on course next year. And I do recommend them. I got a lot, even though I've done dictation for a while now, I did learn something from the course and from her. So it was a great experience. That's all I've got.
Cool. Well, we clearly know I have nothing to add. So y'all have a great night. Oh, don't forget, like and subscribe and tell your friends.
Please do. Okay.